And good morning, everybody. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss. Fantasy Football Week 3 already underway after the 49ers demolished the New York Giants on Thursday night. Gets set to go just about an hour, 2 hours from now. And as we do every week during this time frame, I'm going to discuss some last-minute questions that you might have in terms of start and sit. And also 11:30 Eastern time, the injury report comes out. Also some other topics that are ruminating in my head as we preview and look ahead to all the action for Fantasy Football Week 3. So before I go any further, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're also have that notification bell bopped, so that way all the videos that are going to be I'll be putting forth today, such as any big performances that need to be discussed or any injuries that transpire, and there will be injuries, there always are. We will discuss that, 30 seconds after the injury takes place, and of course the wrap up stream later on today. Now, as far as schedules today, I already discussed the weather earlier today. 3 games are going to be impacted. The Jets, Patriots, probably the most. So, like I noted in the video, though, you're really only starting Hunter Henry. Garrett Wilson owners, it could be really tough sledding. Not only you have to deal with the massive downgrade at quarterback, but you have Bill Belichick on the other side, who, basically did as good a job as anybody shutting down Tyreek Hill last week. And then you have the winds, which, I was just outside, and I live in New York here. 30-mile-per-hour gusts, that's going to add even more uncertainty to Garrett Wilson's performance today. Now, I do think the running backs are going to be used a lot in this game. So Ramondre Stevenson, Breece Hall, even Dalvin Cook as a flex in deeper leagues, I would start all of them. Adam already brought up Breece. So Javonte or Warren or Breece. In a PPR league, I'm going to go Warren because as long as he passes concussion protocol. Standard, I'm going to go Breece Hall. All right. So apparently multiple reports this morning are that Jaylen Warren is going to get the majority of touches today. And they're taking on the Raiders, who, of course, give up the most receptions to running backs going back to the start of last season. Hey, Mark, how are you? Good morning. So some other things I wanted to discuss today. The Miami Dolphins, actually, before I get to the Miami Dolphins. So looking at the schedule today, it's really, this is a bad schedule today. It really is. I mean, the 4:00 games in particular are just terrible. I mean, you have Andy Dalton, Josh Dobbs and Justin Fields in the 3 4:00 games. And this is the perfect opportunity. If you're married with kids, you watch the 1:00 games and you say to your wife at 4:30, okay, why don't we go out to dinner? A lot of people have off tomorrow for the Jewish holiday. You're not going to be missing anything. If you want to try to sell me on Chiefs, Bears, good luck, because I'm not buying it. So this is a good opportunity to build some goodwill with the missus, take her out to dinner, because, again, you're not missing anything. And then, next week you're in the clear, hopefully, for the rest of the day. So we'll have to see about that. Yes, thanks, Charles. My football team won big, 42-7. So I was pretty happy about that. 3-0 start to the season for me, high school football. Looking to go 3-0 in my fantasy leagues. I'm 2-0 in both of my leagues. But anyway, getting back to the schedule, it is an ugly schedule today. There's no doubt about it. And there's some, the blame lies at the feet of the NFL, because if you're gonna, sell the Thursday game, the doubleheader on Monday, the Sunday Night Football, all of that, you're really diluting the Sunday afternoon, which is the event. That's the event for everybody during the week when it comes to football. You're diluting those games to maximize Thursday. When, some people don't even have access to the Thursday game. And then, of course, Sunday and Monday, now this doubleheader on Monday, which I can't stand. If you're going to overlap games, they did this for a brief time period this past Monday, put both games side by side. I mean, that would be cool, right, to do that. And then you could just toggle your remote back and forth, whichever one you want to hear. I thought that would be interesting, but the NFL didn't do that. So, yeah, it is a little bit of a rough, a rough go of it. In terms of the schedule today. Yeah, I tried to get on. I said 11:30 on that video this morning. I meant 11 o'clock. I always try to come on a half hour before the injury report comes out to discuss some things and take some questions. Nico Collins versus Michael Thomas. Wide receiver 2, I got to go Collins. Although I think Michael Thomas is going to have a big game today because Jair Alexander is going to be on Chris Olave. Lawrence versus Stafford. I got a lot of questions on Stafford. Let me just look. I forget. So the Jaguars are playing the Texans. That's a really plush matchup for Trevor Lawrence, although it may not be competitive in the second half. Stafford on the road against the Bengals. I still got to go Trevor Lawrence. I have to go that way. Choose a running back in a flex from these players: Kelly, Elijah Moore, Pierce, Kendra Miller, to Brandon Cooks. I'm going to go Kelly and Elijah Moore. And you know what? Kendra Miller, though, is interesting to me today because Jamal Williams was placed on IR, so he's going to be out for the next 4 weeks. Alvin Kamara is still not back. Taysom Hill is going to get work today again. He's going to get his 8 to 10 carries, probably catch a pass or two, maybe even throw one. So he's still worth using as a tight end, in my opinion, this week. But Kendra Miller, he's a Jamal Williams clone with more speed. He doesn't catch the ball. He didn't do that much in college, but he's got some shiftiness to him. He's got some speed, and the Saints need him. So I think, and if you're desperate, I would throw him out there this week. All right. So if I bench Wilson and move Flowers from flex to my receiver side, which is not a bad idea. I can't believe we're actually doing this already with Garrett Wilson. Who should I put in at Charbonnet, Herbert, McKinnon? It would be Roschon Johnson to me. Roschon Johnson would be the guy I would put in there. Well, actually, Tank Dell you have too. I would actually go Tank Dell. I was really debating playing Tank Dell in both of my leagues. Flex Higgins, Addison, or Tutu. I'm going to go Addison because I don't think Joe Burrow is going to play. And you can't take that chance with the Monday night game. They are playing Monday, right? Yeah, they're playing Monday. All right. Okay. How effective do you think St. Brown, if he plays, will be? I have Flowers on the bench, Jefferson, Lockett. I'm still going St. Brown. I think he'll be fine. Should I play Connor or Zach Moss? Oh, boy, that's tough. I would have to say Connor slightly. One Tank Dell, Godwin, Pierce. One flex, Tank Dell, Godwin, or Pierce, Tank Dell. Who should I drop? Kadarius Toney for Robert Woods, Jordan Reed, or just keep – no, don't keep Kadarius. You could try Robert Woods. I mean, Kadarius Toney is just not dependable. All right, so the other thing I wanted to talk about today is Tua Tagovailoa, the Miami Dolphins. So they're taking on the Denver Broncos today. I laid the points for them. I think they're going to have a huge day again today. This offense, it is really a scary nuclear offense. And, this offense reminds me, anybody that's old enough to remember the greatest show on turf, the Los Angeles Rams or St. Louis Rams back then, reminds me a lot of that team. Kurt Warner, Tua Tagovailoa, rapid release, insane accuracy, throwing their receivers open, anticipating openings before defenses even react. That is what makes Tua Tagovailoa such a good quarterback, and that's what made Kurt Warner a Hall of Fame, one of the greatest stories in NFL history. And Tua Tagovailoa has that. I know he doesn't throw a great deep ball, but I've been sounding the trumpets on this guy going back to his time at Alabama, the tank for Tua. Totally worth it. This guy is that good. I mean, he gets made fun of a lot because of the injuries and his proclivity to throw short, but he is a perfect fit for this offense and what Mike McDaniel wants to do. The way he sees the field and delivers the ball on time, right in the numbers, so his receivers can keep running. You can't teach that, and that's what makes Tua so talented. And Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, who's not playing today with the concussion, are probably more explosive than Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce ever were. Now, Marshall Faulk, of course, in a world of a class by himself over Raheem Mostert, but Mostert is explosive as well. All right, first super chat of the day, $2. Mark Engelson, thank you, Mark. Risk Aaron Jones for Green Bay if he's a go. Yeah, tough one. So, I have Aaron Jones. I'm waiting on standby on this one. We're going to find out. That's at 1 o'clock. I'm actually waiting on him and Isaiah Pacheco. So I have Pacheco in one league and I have Jones in the other. So, I think I still would roll with Aaron Jones. And thank you for that super chat. I really appreciate that. And speaking of Garrett Wilson, so the one league that I did own him in, I traded him. As I said the other day, I traded Cam Akers, in a deal to get Garrett Wilson off my team. I traded Wilson and Cam Akers, just because I wanted to get this guy out of here. And I got back Isaiah Pacheco and Mike Williams. So, I'm not a fan of Pacheco, but I needed a running back with David Montgomery not playing today. And I get Mike Williams, who, is hot and cold, but I'd much rather have him as opposed to Garrett Wilson. The other thing I'm interested about today is Justin Fields. So Justin Fields, this is a plant your flag moment for him. He's already caught up in controversy. He's not progressing as a passer at all. Today, he's got the Kansas City Chiefs at 4 o'clock. He's a 12.5-point underdog. It's ugly. Not that, I can't see the Bears ever benching him, but it's not good right now. He's only scored a little bit more than 16 fantasy points each of the last 2 games. He's very run dependent now because he's just not getting there with the passing game. And that's the problem with Justin Fields, is he's just not developing, and how he's got a bad attitude on top of that. He's dragging down DJ Moore, who's had a career of just having to deal with this kind of awful play at quarterback. Very disappointed in Justin Fields, but I'm not totally surprised as well. So Justin Fields owners are definitely nervous today, and I don't blame you one bit. So you have to be very careful there. Maybe already start planning, trying to get a backup, maybe like a Dak Prescott, who won't cost you an arm and a leg, and get him in there just as insurance. It's not good. Now, speaking of the Giants, who obviously got destroyed by the 49ers, I mentioned this on the wrap-up on Friday morning. So the Giants have an absolute, as big of a must-win game as you could get next Monday against the Seattle Seahawks. If they don't, and they're home, if they don't win this game, they have Miami and Buffalo after that. So this Giants season could be spiraling out of control already. They could be 1-5. Saquon Barkley dealing with a high ankle sprain. He could be back for that Seattle game. But it would not shock me in the least if the Giants are out of it already in October. Do they listen on Saquon Barkley? This is something that, nobody's really talking about right now, but it kind of dawned on me because they have no ties to Barkley after this year. And there's another injury that knocked him for the 4th time in 6 years, knocked him out of action for the 4th time in the last 6 years. The Giants might just be like, listen, enough with this. Like, let's just trade him, get something for him. They probably could get, a 3rd round pick for him, at least, maybe a 3rd and a 5th. Why not? Right. I mean, and the Giants certainly seem subscribed to that theory of not paying running backs. And Joe Shane seems like he's, against paying him. So this is something that we need to watch going forward. Would you hold P. No, I wouldn't. I know the Broncos are the most unwatchable team in the NFL. I mean, they really are. It's fun to root against Sean Payton because he's just an ass. What he did with classless attacking, Hackett with the Jets. I mean, obviously he struggled as a coach, but don't kick the guy while he's down. I mean, come on. And this Broncos team is just not very good. Fields, Lawrence, Ritter. I have Bijan. No, Ritter shouldn't be on a roster. Trevor Lawrence, absolutely against the Texans. I think, listen, I took the points in that one, 8.5. CJ Stroud has really impressed me so far. He's keeping them competitive. The passing game looks good. Nico Collins looks good. Tank Dell looks good. Robert Woods looks good, right? So, Dameon Pierce, not so much. But, at least for now, CJ Stroud is gaining some super flex appeal, and even as a backup in single quarterback leagues. So Austin Eckler wants to play next week. He does have a high ankle sprain. They've been talking around this, but it pretty much was confirmed by Eckler himself that it's a high ankle sprain. So he wants to come back next week, but the Chargers are on a bye week 5. So the thinking goes, maybe they let him make him sit out rather next week again, have him come back for week 6. So obviously it's just not an ideal situation if you're an Austin Eckler owner, only really getting one game out of the first, 5 weeks of the season. That sucks, right? I mean, but again, this is the running back position in a nutshell. Nick Chubb, it was a torn MCL. And as bad as that injury looked on camera, he's lucky that it was just that. But you also have to wonder, at his age, Chubb is 27, I believe. The Browns, did they even start thinking about, okay, maybe we've gone to the end of the road here. Running back Swift, Najee, Ford. I'm going Swift, Bob. Najee Harris is probably losing his starting job in the next 2 weeks. Schultz being ignored there, too many mouths. Yeah, you know what, Mark? I really didn't. I thought that Schultz would be more involved. I thought Robert Woods was completely washed. At least he's showing he's still useful. And Schultz should have stayed in Dallas. I mean, he made a bad call there. I'm not going Ford. Listen, the one thing about the Titans, guys, they shut down the run better than probably any team in the NFL. Go look at the stats, even last year. I mean, they shut down Josh Kelly. They shut down everybody they play in the run game. And, the passing game, that's a whole nother story. But they are that good against the run. Pick 2, half PPR, Zach Moss, Elijah Moore, Kendra Miller, Hollywood Brown, Jacoby Myers. I'm going to go Hollywood Brown because there's going to be a lot of late passing in that one. And I would say Jacoby Myers. I've been disappointed in Elijah Moore. Pat Freiermuth, Hunter Henry every week until otherwise proven. He has earned that right now, catching touchdowns pretty much every game. Been a big safety outlet. Bill O'Brien is really emphasizing the tight end in his passing game. It is pouring in New York, Mark. I actually went for a jog before this, so I was a lazy piece of crap yesterday. I coached Friday night, 3-0, my high school team. I coach wide receivers. I'm not the head coach. But Saturday, it poured all day here in New York. It's still pouring. So I sat on my ass and watched football the entire day. My kids are a little bit older now, so I can get away with that. Right? I mean, anybody that's married knows it's harder when you have little kids to do that. It was a great day in college football yesterday. That Notre Dame-Ohio State game, instant classic. Ohio State pulled it off literally at the last second. Great game. Colorado got humbled. Deion Sanders got his ass kicked by Oregon, and Bo Nix looks really good, the quarterback for Oregon. So great day in college football. Florida State looks good. They escaped late against Clemson. So good stuff all around yesterday. For sure. All right, we have a $4.99 super chat from Stephen Drakes. Thank you, Stephen. Always generous to the channel. Gino or Lawrence today? I'm going to go Lawrence slightly. They both are playing bad teams, but I think that Lawrence, he's got. I think it's very close. I don't think you could go wrong with either one, but I'm going to go Lawrence because I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive because C.J. Stroud is capable of keeping this close, whereas Andy Dalton, I don't think he can. Also flex Craig Reynolds, Warren, Dell are out. Well, I'm flexing Dell. I like Dell a lot. Warren may not play. He's got a concussion protocol. He's got to clear. And Craig Reynolds, they have Zonovan Knight on the roster now. They promoted him. They might use him around the goal line. So the report this morning, Steve, is that the kid there, Jahmyr Gibbs, is going to get the majority of carries today. So anybody that owns Jahmyr Gibbs, this is the day, right? This is what we've been waiting for. Tank Dell played 80% of the snaps last week. They're going to have to throw the ball against the suspect Jacksonville secondary, Steven. So that's who I'm going with. Thank you again for that super chat. I really appreciate it. Yeah, getting rid of Monday Night Football. I don't mind Monday Night Football as much, but the doubleheader thing is stupid. Would you pick up? But I do like Thursday Night Football. I have to admit. I know it's hard on the team, and if you're a road team in Thursday Night Football, it's really hard to win those games. But I do like Thursday Night Football. Would you pick up Spears, McKinnon, Arshane, or Gibson? They're all on my waivers. Also, C.J. Stroud out there and Tank Dell. You got to pick up Tank Dell. Absolutely pick up Tank Dell. McKinnon, you could. I don't think they're going to need him. They're going to blow out the Bears. So that's that. When McKinnon is valuable, it's against a team like Buffalo or Cincinnati where they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. Gibson, no. Arshane, no. I say pick up Tank Dell. Spears, I have on my bench as a handicap running back for the 1:00 games. Is Burrow playing? It's 50-50. That's the way it's looking. If would you play Love or C.J. Stroud? The problem is that he's playing Monday night. So you're going to have to make a proactive call. I do like Love today. I think he's in a good spot, so I would prefer him over C.J. Stroud. And he's capitalizing in the red zone. So Jordan Love, he's been good. I mean, the Packers know how to teach quarterbacks, clearly. But Burrow is 50-50. I haven't seen anything this morning yet really about his availability. But that's tough with the Monday game. You got to be very careful with that. You could pick up Matthew Stafford if you want to hold out for him, if Stafford should be available in your league. So that's how I would play it if you really want to play Burrow. Jaylen Warren was listed as starter today. Yes, he's listed as the starter. Grind, don't stop. Absolutely. And I said it at the top of the show, he's going. This is it. He's making the move now. The Steelers are 0-2 or 1-1, but the offense has been terrible. They seem like they're 0-2. They need to do something. They absolutely need to do something to really spice up this team, spice up the running game. It's been that bad. Do you coach a school team or Long Island, East End of Long Island, Mark? That's where I live. I coach a high school team, wide receivers coach. Jared Goff at home, I'm always confident in. I think Jared Goff at home is awesome. Yes, rain game time, absolutely. Christian Watson or Tank Dell, full PPR. Breece Hall, 100%. That's easy. Rachaad White's got the Eagles, who are number 1 stopping in the run right now. Tennessee, I believe, is number 2. As far as Watson and Dell, I'm going Tank Dell. I'm a big Tank Dell homer, 100%. Start Freiermuth at Taysom Hill. I'm going to Taysom Hill, man. Let's do it. Taysom Hill, he's going to get the carries. Minshew Mania. Listen, I like Gardner Minshew. He's the best backup quarterback. he's got the Ravens. It's a tough matchup, but, he can deliver the football on time. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Rain, I believe he's going to play. We're going to find out in about 10 minutes. Last one, Swift or Rachaad White? I'm going Swift, easy. Rachaad White has a terrible matchup. Should I start Stank Snell, Rashad Bateman, or Roschon? Not Bateman. I would go Tank Dell. Tank Dell is the guy that I would definitely go with for sure. I have Burrow for QB. Should I start CJ Stroud or Goff? I'm going Goff because at home, Goff is like 2 touchdowns automatically. Full PPR, Kelly or London. Well, that's a tough one. The Falcons got to keep up. I'm going to go London because they're going to have to keep up with Detroit's offense. All right, that offense, Detroit, especially at home, is really good. Amon-Ra St. Brown said when he met with the media that he's planning to play. So, like I said, we're going to find out. Kadarius Toney is playing today. Nobody cares. Isaiah Pacheco is supposed to play today. So is DK Metcalf, and so is DeAndre Hopkins. So, Raheem Mostert to the moon. That definitely could happen. I mean, the Broncos aren't stopping anybody. The Broncos aren't scaring anybody. So that could happen for sure. Listen, Raheem Mostert, guys, if he ever played even like 14 games, right? Let's get 14 games out of him. He's like 1,100 plus yards, 8 touchdowns, easy. And he can catch he can catch 30 to 35 passes. So he is very explosive. He always has been. He's an older back. I believe he's 31 now. But he doesn't have the mileage on him because he's missed so much time. Would you start Jaylen Warren over Javonte Williams or Breece Hall? You know what? I would start Jaylen Warren because, again, he's getting the majority of touches. He's just got a clear concussion protocol. So I don't like Javonte Williams. Breece Hall, we still don't know if he's on a snap count. Dalvin Cook is still there. He looks completely washed. So I would say Jaylen Warren. Why don't you like Kadarius? Why receive one of his team? He caught all of his target. No. Listen, I saw his nonsense here in New York the first year plus he was here. The guy dogged it all the time. He was more interested in his stupid rap career, Little Joko, whatever his rap name was. He's always hurt. I mean, and you saw him in the opener. He couldn't catch anything. He wouldn't be able to catch like a Nerf football. I mean, that's how bad he was in that game. I mean, he didn't even know what to do with it. So I'm done with this guy and his attitude. And he's never available. The potential's always there, but he literally, has had like only 1 or 2 good games in his entire career. I'm just done. Sit one. I think I know Chase Evans, Garrett Wilson. Not even a question. Garrett Wilson against New England today. And again, that's the biggest shame of the fantasy football season is Garrett Wilson. I mean, we were all pumped. I owned him in one league. I just got rid of him. Just because it's unless things change, unless they bring in somebody, it's not going to change for Garrett Wilson. And I feel bad. Yeah, I mean, that was the obvious call, Mark. I mean, I really do feel for Garrett Wilson, who is on talent alone, he is a slam dunk top 10 guy, maybe even top 5. I mean, that's how good he is. But he's stuck in a really, really bad situation with the Jets. There's just no doubt about it. So, all right. So Survivor pool this week. I did the Ravens week 1. I did the 49ers week 2. I'm not taking the Eagles against the Bucs. I don't like to take road teams in this thing, although Dallas Cardinals, that's one I was seriously looking at. I'm tempted Seattle, but Andy Dalton, you never know with Andy Dalton. Same thing with Gardner Minshew against the Ravens. The Jags against the Texans is tempting, but it's a division game, and that tends to make the underdog play really hard. The Bills, Commanders, Pats, Chiefs, Chargers, Vikings, and the Dolphins, Broncos. I mean, the Broncos are playing for their life today. I'm going to have to play it safe and go Dallas. I'm going to go Dallas. And again, I'm using a lot of good teams early on, but you play for this week and this week only. That's it. Yeah, Nerf football. Yep. Remember Nerf football? Did they even make those anymore? That was like the rage back then. I still remember the commercial too. And then there was the John Elway thing, right? The what was that football that you could throw like 60 yards, no problem. It looked like a dart. What was that football? You guys know what I'm talking about? Stuck for 3 more years, right? Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be a problem for Garrett Wilson. He's going to have to, hopefully. I mean, Aaron Rodgers. Could you imagine though if Aaron Rodgers was there, how great it would be? that would have been unbelievable just to see how that would have transpired with Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers throughout the course of the season. So it is still pouring here. Just anybody interested, it's raining right now for the Jets game, MetLife Stadium for the Jets and the Patriots. So again, even more reason to bench Garrett Wilson. Javonte Williams, Algier, or Jaylen Warren. I'm getting a lot of Javonte Williams questions. I don't like him this week. I like Jaylen Warren. If it's full PPR, you have to go Jaylen Warren because he might actually get the start today. That seems to be the indication, reading the tea leaves. So, playing, in the Steelers offense that likes to target their running backs, especially against the Raiders who give up a ton to the running back, that makes it even more imperative to get Jaylen Warren in the lineup. So, I just got to see what do you do for fantasy on which app? I do Yahoo, and I don't even use the app. I'm like old school with the laptop there. I don't like the apps. I know that whatchamacallit, that one app that everybody always talks about that you could play everybody. I know that's like a popular one, but I don't do much on the apps. I'm not too big on the apps. But so like I said, the slate today is just not really good. Tonight the Steelers Raiders. The Steelers again on prime time. I'm just done with that team. Do you believe projection? I don't believe in any of that. No, the projections. I don't believe that at all. It's just a stupid entertainment tool. That's why Yahoo puts that in there. So I never really pay attention to that, Mark, in terms of that. I'm losing, I'm projected to lose by this and that. No, because all it takes is one big play. Like last week I was losing in a matchup and I had Garrett Wilson and he caught a 60+ yard touchdown and then it flipped just like that. Swift or Pacheco, I'm going Swift. He's healthier for one. And Nick Sirianni has said he's going to go with the hot hand, and the hot hand right now is DeAndre Swift. So, listen, Tampa Bay stops the run pretty good, actually very good. But Pacheco, not 100%. So I'm a little concerned about him. Should we so far performance Amon-Ra today? 15 fantasy points. I say he goes under. Yeah, I don't think he's going to fire on all cylinders. And they're playing the Falcons, and the Falcons are going to run the ball like crazy just to keep Detroit offense off the field. So I would say under 15. It's probably, he's hobbled. Let's face it, a toe injury is brutal for a football player, no matter the position. And like I said, the Falcons are going to run it. They're going to run it, and they're going to run it some more. And that's going to really take time off the clock. Speaking of the Falcons, Kyle Pitts. Somebody offered me Kyle Pitts for Dak Prescott, who's my backup quarterback, and I even rejected that. Kyle Pitts should be on waiver wires. Like, he really is. It's funny how people hold on to name brand people, even though we're now on our second year of him just sucking it every week pretty much. That's how bad it's been. So, he should be cut. He shouldn't even be on a roster. Do you think Brian and Kyron will keep up the numbers? Yes, I think they both will to an extent. I think Brian Robinson is definitely the better bet out of the two. Kyron Williams, I'm still not 100% sold on. Brian Robinson can give you 100 yards rushing. I don't think Kyron can. Jones Jr. or Miller, even worth it for Kamara coming back next week. Anyway, I would pick up Kendre Miller because what if he goes crazy today, right? It doesn't cost you anything. Pitts is horrible. Yeah, it's not that he's horrible, Prince. He's actually really good. He's just in a listless offense. Let's say you put Kyle Pitts on Miami, he's going to catch 60 passes, right? You put Kyle Pitts on even the Raiders. That would be a great fit with Jimmy Garoppolo. So it really just comes down to the offense. I think Kyle Pitts is very, very talented. He's very skilled. He's just, it's just a bad fit, and it's wasting his prime years. And that's the real shame of it all. It's wasting his prime years. We're about a minute away from the injury report. Kadarius is terrible. Kadarius is terrible at everything when it comes to football. The only thing he's good at is just hitting the injury list. What do you expect from Kamara? I think Kamara is going to be, 4 to 5 catches a game, 60 to 70 rushing yards, majority of his touchdowns coming through the air. See if I was under 15. I think he's going over. I think there's going to be more points scored in that game than we think. Aaron Jones is out. Yeah. So Aaron Jones is out. I just saw that too. And so is Christian Watson. Shit. So I don't have Aaron Jones. So I'm going to be rolling with Josh Kelly. Fuck. This guy, man. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's every year he misses a couple of games. Not how electric he is. Dotson, London, or Tank Dell. I'm going Tank Dell. Unbelievable. Aaron Jones is out. Man, that sucks. It really does. I really thought he was going to play. Today. It was a tough matchup against Saints defense, but when Christian Watson returns from hamstring, you see him becoming a high-end wide receiver 2, a volatile wide receiver 2, meaning he's going to alternate really like a monster game like every 3 games, and then the other 2 he'll be, he'll be struggling. Mark Engelson, thank you. Yes, thumbs up. Hit that like button. Josh Kelly does have a great matchup, but, he wasn't good last week. I know it was a tough defense. Yeah, that was the problem. I mean, he scored 3 points last week. He's kind of left me with some scars. All right, Foster Moreau is out for the Saints. Nobody cares. I can't believe Aaron Jones is out. And Christian Watson, I mean, I told you guys to avoid him. I'm not surprised at all about this. Would you ever roster Ruscon Johnson or Warren? Rest of season, I got to go Jaylen Warren. Better offensive line for sure. And, I just think he's very explosive. I mean, Roschon Johnson, I don't know if he's going to totally overtake Khalil Herbert. Devontae Adams, Christian Kirk, Addison, London, pick 3. Obviously, Adams, Addison, and Nozay Jones. I have to go Kirk then and leave London out. All right, so Cam Akers inactive for the Vikings. We knew that was going to happen. He should play with them next week. And I'm interested to see what happens. I know that Kevin O'Connell was talking up Alexander Mattison, but he's been really bad. I mean, let's face it, he's been really, really bad. He's been a bust so far. I don't like to call anybody a bust, 2 games into the season, but he's been a bust. And so is Justin Fields for that matter. All right, so we're waiting on Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions. Haven't gotten that yet. All right, so Tyreek Hill. So we think Tyreek Hill's outscoring Justin Jefferson. That's interesting. I thought it would be closer than that, 63%. But listen, Tyreek Hill is just having an insane season. Start Dell or Addison, tough one. I'm going to say Addison because it's all hands on deck in that Vikings-Chargers game. And one of those teams, so David Montgomery is inactive. It's another running back I'm down. So I'm down Montgomery in one league, and I'm down Aaron Jones in the other. I mean, it's unbelievable. Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, David Montgomery. Like, it just goes on. Austin Eckler goes on and on and on. And we're not even really in week 3 yet. When you watch these running backs and you own one of them, like if you're a Christian McCaffrey owner and you're watching him in a game, you're holding your breath. All right, so Amon-Ra St. Brown obviously is active. Who do you think you get the ball more, Hunt or Ford? Oh, Ford. I think Hunt is really just a supporting character at this point. I don't think he's a threat to Jerome Ford, who looks, he looked good last week. And a lot of this is going to fall on Deshaun Watson. My opponent still has Waddle in his lineup. Yeah, so I played somebody this week who, had Brandon Ayuk and Jalen Waddle, and he took out Ayuk and he took out Waddle. But those are 2 guys that I really, really dodged in my opponent. Yes, Kevin, thank you. I really appreciate that. I try to be the best. So Austin Eckler obviously is out. That just came out too. Man, Austin Eckler, tough situation. When your first round pick, your top 5 pick is missing, this much time, it's a problem. Just drop Roschon Johnson. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to do that move. Addison or London. I'm going to go Addison because of the matchup. Connor, A.J. Dillon, Algier, Javonte Williams, pick 2. So Jair is out today. I missed that. Jair Alexander is out today. Wow, that's big. I missed that. All right, good job there with that. Jair Alexander, that is big, Kevin. Good job. Yeah, that's going to really help Olave. Down Monty and Jones. I need to start Pierce or Brian Robinson. You got to go Brian Robinson. I mean, it's recency bias. He's been good. Is wide receiver 1? I think Ayuk is number 1. I think Debo, we've seen it when both are on the field over the last year plus. Brandon Ayuk's been the better guy. St. Brown is playing, Charles. He is in the lineup. Yep. Jair Alexander, yeah, he's out. Unbelievable. Josh Reynolds is active. So is DeAndre Hopkins. All right, Mark, probably around 7:30. That's usually when the late edition is on, the late stream is on. Starting Kendre Miller today. Hey, listen, he's got the opportunity. Taysom Hill really is the only. I don't think Tony Jones are going to bother with that again. He was so bad last week. Taysom Hill is going to get work. If you need a tight end, Taysom Hill is probably worth it. But it's interesting, Kendre Miller. It's very interesting to me for sure. All right, let's see. Commanders, Logan Thomas is out. Nothing really earth-shattering there. All right, so let me take out Aaron Jones now. I got to take out Aaron Jones. Man, I can't believe he's out again. And Darren Waller gave me nothing. So I'm going to go Josh Kelly over Tyler Algier. Man, it's tough. It is tough out there, and I had to go Pacheco over David Montgomery. So it is tough out there this week with all these injuries, and hopefully, it'll get. And I'm sure somebody else will go down today. It's only a matter of time. Would you trade Laporta and Hollywood for Goddard? No, I wouldn't do that. I like Laporta. I think he's a good fit in this offense. See you at 7:30. Good luck. Yes, thank you, Mark. Good luck to you as well. And if anything changes, that's why you got to have the notification bell hit. If anything changes, if something comes up or whatever, just I'll let you guys know. But I should be around 7:30 or so. That way we can commiserate on how good or bad we did and discuss the injuries. That's why I always like the Sunday night stream because it's a good opportunity to discuss what took place during the day. So Jalen Waddle is out. Salvin Ahmed is out as well for the Dolphins. So, Eckler, Barkley, those are big ones. Nick Chubb, obviously, but it's a survival of the fittest in fantasy football. That's what it comes down to. Which team is going to make it throughout the course of the season, reach the end point with the most health. That's how fantasy football really is decided a lot of times. It all comes down to the health of your roster. When you lose an Austin Eckler, you lose a Nick Chubb for the season. That's a huge, huge detriment right there. And that's why when you draft these running backs and they have decent handcuffs, you have to draft them too in the late rounds. Like, nobody saw Jerome Ford being a guy, but you want it. Josh Kelly, last week notwithstanding, he's going to be better this week. He's got a much better matchup, but that's why you want to get these handcuff backs onto your roster. I have Tyjae Spears in case anything happens to Derrick Henry today. You could bring in Tank Bigsby, like guys like that, Devin Singletary at the 1:00 games, and then you just drop them at 4:00, and then you pick up somebody from the 4:00 game. So that's the way you should optimally do this. 4:00 games. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's what I'm going to have to pick up if Pacheco is out. And I really just hope I don't have to do that. All right. Zay Jones is out. No surprise there. They put Aaron Jones as NA in Yahoo. I didn't see that. I was trying to put him on the IR for the day. And yeah, you're right. Yeah, what the hell is that about? I don't understand that. That causes controversy too. I don't know if anybody deals with that. Some people think that you shouldn't be able to put a guy on the IR if he's only missing one game, and that I don't know if anybody remember that story about Tommy Phams, hitting Jock Peterson over that, and their fantasy team for Peterson did that. That's kind of a loophole that Yahoo has. But anyway, so, all right, guys, I'm going to jump off now. Thanks for tuning in. Live stream later today. Hit the subscribe button. All day injury analysis. Also, if anything big happens performance-wise, I'll chime in about that as well. Maybe some shorts. So hit that subscribe button. I will chat with all of you soon. Hopefully your players make it through the day, guys. Have a great day.